Donna Sherman. I work for Public Partnerships, and I just wanted to kick off our closing by welcoming everyone to our 2022 New Jersey Self-Direction Conference. We are all in this together, the closing session. We started out, with some pre-sessions about the national and the New Jersey history in January and February, and then we've just had, a lot of great dialogue and communication and discussions over the course of this month of March. And so we're excited today to present our art submission winner and also to hear from our newly appointed official commissioner, to also hear from a self-advocate, and then really appreciating Paul Aronsohn, our IDD Ombudsman, closing for us. So I'm going to start just by saying that I was humbled and honored to present John Yard and his mother, Betsy Yard, and I actually got to meet his STE as well, Janine, with the art winner. He was the art winner for this beautiful piece, which we have up on the website as well. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect in sharing that we are all in this together. And in my meeting with him, we shared with him a gift card as a part of his winnings, as well as some swag from all of the organizations that have been a part of the New Jersey Self-Direction Conference. So we have a little video, and if anyone is ever in Bordentown, New Jersey, I went to where John does his artwork and sells his artwork amongst other folks in the community selling their artwork at Gale Forest Winds. It's an amazing place that Betsy has put together with and for John and many others within the IDD community. So we have a little bit of a video showing when I presented him with his award. So thank you so much and congratulations, John. Great job.
You did the We Are In This Together New Jersey Self-Direction Conference. You won. You won. Your submission won.
Thank you.
Yay, and this is for you.
Oh, look at that.
Wow,
Right?
John.
And we can match.
Look
Right?
at that. It's a
We can
nice
match.
sleeve.
So John's 27 years
Yeah.
old and he resides in Burlington County, and he created one-of-a-kind jewelry and mosaic pieces. And you created this beautiful piece of artwork.
I just want to thank everybody who supports John through Self-Direction, his broker, his direct support staff, as well as his support coordination agency, PPL and DDD. Really appreciate you helping John build his life in the community. Thank you.
The New Jersey Self-Direction Conference thanks you so much for your submission.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You did the
Sorry, I was on mute. That was great. Thank you so much, John and Betsy. Really appreciate all the time that you gave me when I presented John with all of his good stuff that he got to get for the submission. I am going to introduce Ken Smith. He is Public Partnerships Chief Growth Officer and just very passionate about self-direction and everything that comes along with it. So he's going to present the commissioner's message for us. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for everyone who's been part of the conference and for the organizers, for everything Mercedes has done as our MC and facilitator, and Marion for your partnership. I just want to mention one little thing about myself. Long before being at PPL these past 4 years, 35 years ago, I started out in self-direction as a licensed social worker, working with individuals, helping them in the personal care tenant program and helping them with any assistance they might choose here in Massachusetts. So this program is near and dear to my heart now for 35 years. And in the past 4 years, I've been honored to work as one of the vendors within New Jersey Department of Health with now Commissioner Sarah Adelman. So I'm very, very honored to be able to introduce her today and her message that's coming up. And very grateful that Commissioner Adelman took the time. Her schedule is pretty darn crazy, and that she really took the time to make sure we could all hear directly from her in this video message. So just a little bit about Sarah Adelman. She's been the commissioner since last January, the New Jersey Department of Health. But just last Thursday, 6 days ago, she was confirmed as the commissioner, no longer acting, just last week. And under her leadership, the department has helped residents through the pandemic by making significant investments in childcare, food assistance, housing supports, and improving and expanding services for older adults and individuals with disabilities. And Commissioner Adelman and her team have been protecting health coverage for more than 2 million residents in the state of New Jersey. And they continue to work to enhance mental health and addiction services. A little bit more about Commissioner Adelman. She joined the department back in 2018, about 4 years ago. She was the deputy commissioner, and she had oversight of the Division of Developmental Disabilities, that we commonly say DDD, as well as Division of Aging and the Division of Medical Assistance and Health Services, which operates New Jersey Family Care. Sarah's also been on the board. She served as the board of New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. So I did mention earlier commitment to housing and housing supports. It's important to note that under Commissioner Adelman is an agency that serves 1 in 3 New Jersey residents, children, and 1 in 5 adults. And the budget for Department of Health is approximately $20 billion in both state and some federal funds. And then finally, before joining Governor Murphy's administration, Sarah Adelman served as Vice President of the New Jersey Association of Health Plans and was the Chief of Staff at the New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute. So she comes to the state of New Jersey proudly serving all of you with quite an extensive breadth of experience. So without further ado, Donna, we will listen to Commissioner Adelman's message.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Adelman, the Acting Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Human Services. The Division of Developmental Disabilities and Medicaid are both part of our department, and we are proud supporters and promoters of self-direction. I am so excited that all of you participated in this important conference, and I thank you for making time to be a part of this critical conversation. And thank you to the Collaborative for Citizen-Directed Supports and to Public Partnerships, Easter Seals, the Council on Developmental Disabilities, Rutgers, and the Boggs Center for putting together these great events. Every person has the inherent right to determine the course of their own life, and we are in this together. I applaud your advocacy and efforts to promote and expand citizen-directed services and supports in New Jersey. As you know, March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and the perfect time to reaffirm that self-direction is one of the most important ways in which you have a voice of your own. Having a voice of your own allows you to set the course of your life in big and small ways, like how you spend your time and pursue your dreams, how you grow and contribute to our communities, how you explore your personal interests and build friendships, how you build financial independence, and how you protect your physical and emotional health. And by the way, this pandemic has made many of these challenging for each of us. I want you to know that it has been our continued honor at Human Services to serve individuals with disabilities, and I have been continually moved by your resilience and fortitude and that of your families and caregivers during these difficult months. I admire your strength and determination, and I'm excited for all of us to transition out of the pandemic and into the new normal. Please know, under Governor Murphy's leadership, Human Services is listening, and we're doing all we can to make clear that we promote and encourage self-direction and independent living, no matter the challenges. And we are very excited to have recently announced a new office to help you better meet your needs. Under the leadership of Assistant Commissioner Jonathan Seyfried, our Division of Developmental Disabilities recently launched the Office of Education on Self-Directed Services. This office provides a centralized place for the delivery of education and training for people with IDD, their families, advocates, support coordinators, and interested community partners and stakeholders. And the office serves as an additional support to help people understand how self-directed services can work if chosen by an individual. A great thing is that the office offers subject matter experts who can talk about best practices in self-directed services and are available to provide technical assistance and education. These subject matter experts are focused on educating people and their families as they choose to self-direct their services. They are committed to establishing the most person-centered process and educating stakeholders and other community partners so that all people have the ability to achieve their desired outcomes. I want to thank Assistant Commissioner Seyfried for his work to support citizen-directed services and for the work he and his team do each and every day. Governor Murphy's administration is strongly committed to supporting the needs of individuals with developmental disabilities as well as their families and caregivers, and we want to do it with you. We are listening, so please keep working hard to make sure your voices are being heard. Thank you again, and I hope you leave this conference feeling energized and empowered. Bye, everyone.
Okay, well, that was wonderful, and thanks to the commissioner for those inspiring words. And the person that's going to follow the commissioner is somebody with lived experience and expertise. So I think the words will take on perhaps some new meaning. And for those of you participating who use self-direction or family members who are in attendance, perhaps there will be this kind of continued understanding as we listen and we share experiences and move forward from this conference. Donna, as you said, it's hard to believe this is the last session, but I think that the content today really kind of brings everything together, and we leave here today really moving forward together. So it is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce Micah Fialka Feldman, who is a self-advocate, teaching assistant, outreach coordinator, national speaker, and a pioneer who fights for disability pride, justice, and inclusion. He is part of the first wave of adults with intellectual disabilities who have attended college and who have been fully included in both school and the community. Micah's disability advocacy has a foundation in the creation of the beloved community and the notion that a community that excludes even one of its members is not a community at all. A little bit about Micah. He earned a certificate in disability studies from Syracuse University School of Education in 2015. Micah currently lives in Syracuse, New York, where he co-teaches classes in inclusive education and disability studies. He is an outreach coordinator at the Lawrence B. Tyshoff Center for Inclusive Higher Education. In May of 2014, Micah was appointed by President Obama to the President's Committee for People with Intellectual Disabilities. He is featured in the upcoming documentary by Dan Habib, Intelligent Lives. In 2009, Micah won a landmark federal lawsuit, Fialka Feldman versus Oakland University Board of Trustees, to live in the dorms at Oakland University. After Micah had been accepted to live in the dorms in 2007, he received notification from the university that he could not live in the dorm because of university policy. The administration argued that he was not considered a degree-seeking student. Micah sued Oakland University for violating his rights. After 2 years of advocacy court proceedings, the Honorable Judge Duggan of the U.S. 6th District Court ruled that Oakland University had denied Micah housing based on prejudice, stereotypes, and/or unfounded fear of persons with disabilities. Micah moved into the dorms in January of 2010. So hopefully you get an idea of why we invited you, Micah, to come and speak as our closing keynote. Believe that you have many lessons from your varied experiences in promoting disability rights and justice and full inclusion for all. So the format of Micah's closing keynote will be an interview, and I'm fortunate enough to be the one asking you the questions. So Micah, if you're ready to go? All right, let's get started. First, I want to thank you for being here, and certainly thank you for the advocacy and the leadership that you are showing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and thanks for being willing to share it with us today. So why don't we start out with you telling us a little bit about when you started using self-direction?
Okay, yeah. I started using self-direction in 2015, and I had a meeting with my circle, and I wanted to start it, and then I found a broker, and they helped me with self direction.
Okay, thank you for that. I want to go back to something you said a little bit earlier in that response, and that was you talked with your circle of support.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what does that mean to you?
Yeah. My circle is like a group of friends, colleagues, staff, people that work with me, and everyone that supports me. And it's like a group of people that meet with me once a month, and they check on me. They check on how things are going, and it's a thing that started when I was in 3rd grade, and then I have started it in like Syracuse.
Wonderful. Are you good with me kind of staying on this topic
sure.
for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is really important information. And first of all, I just want to say what great pictures. So everybody's seeing your circle of support, family and friends. So can you tell us a little bit about who are in these pictures with you?
Yeah, my mom, my dad, my sister, and then in that big picture is my circle and people that have been in my circle, and friends, and my broker, and some of the other people.
Great. Is that the picture where there's a poster that says read?
Yeah.
Okay. So just like a description of these pictures for folks participating. There are 4 pictures, all of them in color, and they show a variety of people. And perhaps the best one, actually, Micah, is your pose on, it looks like on the green of Syracuse University. That's a great shot. Yeah. Great shot of you. Hopefully Syracuse is using that. That'd be a good recruiting tool, I think. That's a great.
It would. Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe I'll mention that to them.
Yeah, you never know, but I'm just saying that's such a great shot. All right, so in the picture where with your circle of support, you talked about your supports broker is part of that circle? Okay. Yeah. So what does your supports broker do?
She helps me with my staff, hiring my staff, supporting my staff, helping my staff when they have questions, helping them with how to help me better, and yeah.
Okay. All right, good. And then some of the people in this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And they can go to her and and then people can go to her and get help from other people.
Great. That's helpful. So in the picture also, so some of these people, your staff, people who are paid to be with you?
Yeah, some of them. Like one person is in that picture that is in that big office, but she was my staff, but she is not my staff anymore. But
Is she still part of your circle?
no, I haven't talked to her in a while.
Okay.
But-
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it happens, fortunately, unfortunately,
Yeah.
sometimes change can be good, sometimes not. But okay, so there's also people in that picture then who are part of your circle who aren't paid to be with you?
Yeah, they're like my coworkers and people that work with me, and yeah.
Great. Can you talk a little bit about how you invited them to be?
Yeah,
Part
I
of the
can. I can like they're like coworkers I work with and colleagues and friends that I just asked them to join my circle, and I explained it, and then they like they like helped me with that.
Good. And you said your circle gets together once a month?
Yeah.
Cool. How does that happen? Do you
It's on it's on Zoom right now. But
Okay. All right, good. So through the pandemic, you still continue to get together? You just did it the
yeah.
way most of us did it, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. So does your supports broker help you to kind of organize those meetings, or are they more just kind of get-togethers and you just talk about the things you want to talk about? Can you tell us a little bit about how a circle meeting works for you?
Yeah, I can. It's like a big group of people that meets on Zoom, and then they talk on Zoom, and then they talk on Zoom, and then they meet on they talk on Zoom, and they help me with like right now I'm looking for a roommate, and they are helping me trying to find like a roommate.
Good. Okay. Can you talk a little bit more about that? So how did you tell them that you were thinking about a roommate, and then kind of what
I shared my flyer with them, and I shared with them what I'm looking for, and they have asked me what I'm looking for, and then I share a flyer, and then they help me look for a roommate.
That's good. So how are you going about looking for a roommate these days? Are you kind of meeting up with people on Zoom?
Right now I just have been starting to post flyers around and things like that.
Good. Are you posting them around the university?
Some of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does your circle give you ideas for kind of
yeah they do? Yeah.
Cool. That's good. So
and I think that self-direction is a good process, but it is a lot of work. But I would say that I have learned a lot from it.
Can you tell us some of what you learned? Maybe one thing or two things. What have you learned?
Sure. I've learned that it's hard to be a supervisor, but with my circle and broker and coordinators and people that help me, it's a thing that is very helpful, and I just had a great staff meeting on like Monday, and it was a great time to get people to help me.
That's really interesting that you say that. You're talking about being a supervisor of your staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think supervision is hard, right? It's hard sometimes. Yeah.
It is,
So,
but I would say that all my staff has says all my staff have that I have talked to, they have said I am I am I am one of their best supervisors ever.
well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing? That people feel you're a good supervisor? Because that's a really good thing to hear from people you're supervising.
It is, yeah. I think I'm honest and they're honest with me, and I can share anything I want to share with them, and they are helpful.
Nice. Well, that's really good to hear. There were a few other self-advocates who spoke at this conference, and they also said that it's not easy. It's not easy when you're in control of the services, right? So
No.
what is difficult for you?
Just trying to get everything done, but I get help from the people that I need help with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talked a little bit about your supports broker helps you when you need to find staff.
Yeah.
One of the things. Yep. What are some of the other things that you ask for help about sometimes?
Just making sure that I turn in the right paperwork that I have to turn in.
Good answer. Yeah, paperwork is important, and do you find that that's what you're using help with, right? Because to meet some of the rules and regulations, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's a big part of everyone's experience who works in the system. Paperwork is a big issue, so it's important to get help with it. And it's really good to hear that that's part of what your circle does and what your team does.
Yeah.
What other challenges? If you're a good supervisor, right? That means that you're working through things with your staff. Would that be correct to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things? Can you talk about some of the things that you and your staff work through?
The scheduling and making sure that they can get the support they need and the help. And yeah, and I have a great person that helps me cook meals, and she helps me with my meal prep every week.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I need help with meal prep too. And I think it's really important, because sometimes in our system, at least the way it used to be, was like you had to be able to show that you could do all these things by yourself, right? Before you could even talk about, moving into your own place and taking control of some of your stuff. And one of the things I find really cool about the system now and the way that it's continuing to go is that, look, if I don't like to cook or I'm not good at cooking, that's one of the things that I can ask for help with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the person who I work with is from where the conference is. She lives, she's in school, but she lives in some parts of, maybe not where the conference is, but she lives in near Jersey and stuff.
That's great. That's great. Good. What other types of things do you ask for help with?
I sometimes need help when I need to go shopping for clothes or shoes, or when I have appointments with my healthcare team, or when I need to go to an airport or things like that. But I haven't had to travel in a while. I don't travel that much.
I was just going to ask you that. All right, so going to the airport, yeah, that can take a lot of navigation, right? When we used to do those things.
Yeah.
So do you travel for work? Do you travel for
Yeah,
pleasure? Both?
I travel for pleasure and work, but right now everything's on Zoom still. But
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. But that's also part of the support that you would get, is somebody would help you with like arranging. Would it be like helping you find flights and
yeah,
things like that?
some of that, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think that one of the many cool things about self-direction, right, is that you're actually able to say, like, here's the job I want my staff to do. And
Yeah.
that could be part of it. Because for somebody
Yeah.
else who doesn't travel or who doesn't need or want that kind of support, their staff doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, but like sometimes I need to be more clear of what I want and need. Like I'm a very like easy boss, but sometimes I ask my circle of how to be more assertive, because sometimes I'm not, like, I'm good, but sometimes I'm not that assertive. But
Well, I mean, I think that's really courageous of you to be aware enough about yourself
Mhm.
that you can say that and that you can ask for help with that.
Mhm.
How did the people in your circle help you with that?
I talk to them. I go on walks with them, or I talk to them at work or on the phone.
Good. So they're there for you, like when you need them.
Yeah, they are.
So it's not just getting together once a month with the full group, but it sounds like sometimes you're reaching out to maybe
Yeah.
a few people when you need something.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think for many of us, and tell us how you feel about this, but this is one of the most important things in self-direction, is helping people to, either create that circle or to kind of keep that circle going. Would you agree that that's important?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think sometimes, and for some people, it's that's not often the thing that we think about, and it's another really important role of the supports broker is, that by definition, the broker, that's one of the things that they can do, and they can help do the inviting, as you talked about a little bit earlier, and then they can help with organizing the meetings or the get-togethers, because not everybody thinks of them as meetings. Some circles just meet and have a good meal, or during the time of COVID, maybe they all joined and ate dinner together over Zoom, Okay, so that's good. I think that information is really helpful to understand, and that circles can look different for every person.
Oh yeah.
It's different than your planning team, right? Like the people who are in your life. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So what would you say are really the good things about self-direction? What do you really like about it? Why do you keep doing it? Because it is a lot of work.
No, it is. I think the staff, my team, my broker, and the people who I work with day to day, and my staff that I like, and they're just great staff that are just great staff that I work with, and they're honest, and they want to help, and they want me to they like want me to grow and learn. And
yeah, that is really good to hear. So relationships, you find that in self-direction, and because it sounds like too, like you're freely choosing even the people that you work with, right? That's a big benefit of self-direction. And even when things don't work out, like you mentioned, one of the staff who is in the picture but is no longer part of your team, like you got to decide together with that person, or that person just moved on, but do you feel a sense of control even when you have to say this really isn't working out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. So a little bit, I guess, about your work too, because you're doing really important work in terms of your teaching. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I like teach at the university as a TA, and I help teach as a TA and as a teaching assistant.
That's great. And what do you find in terms of your interactions with students and with the class? Do you share a lot about your own life?
Yeah, I do share my own life, and some of them are like, I wonder what they take away from it, and like they are younger than me, but I think they do have a good mind and a good spirit.
Well, that's good to hear. It's good to hear that next generation coming up is it gives hope, right? And certainly what you're teaching too is important, because it's about including everybody, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. Does your circle or does your staff, do they help you with preparing your lesson plans, or?
No, I like work with my other teachers.
Great. So your colleagues help when needed?
Yeah.
That's really good to hear too. I think in the system, we often talk about the importance of natural supports, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But,
And trying to get the support that you need and want.
right. And just kind of like all of us on the job, we all need help and support sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to have colleagues there. Well, I definitely want to leave some time for people to be able to ask you some questions themselves. I think you've really covered a lot, and we certainly, appreciate it.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
As I was speaking, and I should have mentioned earlier, but I do have a staff person here. If you want me to, if you ever had a question for her, she is here if you want to ask her anything.
Well, that is very kind and generous of both of you. I think it'd be great to maybe ask her a question or two if she's willing. What is her name?
Her name, her nickname is her nickname is Jordana.
Georgiana?
Jordana.
Jordana.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can see the
Jordana.
hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It's a lot of fun, and I'm learning a lot too. So that's always a good thing. But well, thank you for your service. And do you mind sharing what your experience is as a supporter of Micah as he directs his own services and leads his life?
Yeah, of course. I've been working with Micah since around November of this year. We've been in contact since September, and he's one of the most positive and energetic people I've ever met. And working with him, I work as really like a health coach. I'm part of his circle, of course, and I kind of work to make him meals, to keep him healthy, to help him fulfill his goals, because Micah is a very organized and a very mindful person, and he loves to work towards goals. So we make goals together, and we on top of it, we're friends, and we've formed an amazing relationship through working together and really being communicative. And he's smarter than me sometimes. Like, sometimes we'll be doing something and I'll be going grocery shopping and he's like, oh, we had to do this. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I totally forgot. So it's a very, I don't think of it as, I'm at a job and I'm working and I have to be, it's more like I love being here and being with him and working with him. And I learned so much about, so much more about disabilities, and we learn from each other, and it's awesome.
That's really hard to follow, Jordana, and that's really incredible to hear. And there were a couple things in what you said that really spoke to me and hopefully to others, and that is, learning from one another, right? Oftentimes in this field, it's, as the professionals, we come in and we know better, and that tide has been shifting, thankfully.
Right.
But to hear you say that even in your role as support staff, that you learn from Micah, I think is extremely powerful. And and again, I think with one of the many benefits of self-direction and the challenges, obviously, as in life, but to know that people can form relationships like this that are based on trust and kind of the give and take that comes with good, healthy relationships is really, really important to hear. Thank you for sharing that.
Right. Of course. I'm here to give any accounts that, you might not get just directly from Micah, because he sees his workers, but it's different when you have a member of the circle here to give a different perspective.
Absolutely.
I could talk about it forever. I could talk about it.
Very helpful. And I trust Micah would be like, no, that's really not the way it is, if he felt that it wasn't so. Right.
I would.
You would correct me, wouldn't you?
I would.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've only known you really a couple minutes, but I get that sense from you. But I think it's also important, Jordana, too, that Micah has said that the feedback he has received is that he is a good supervisor. What, in your opinion, makes him a good supervisor?
I think, like I said before, he's very mindful, and he keeps tabs and makes sure to keep tabs on everything that goes on in his life. He's very good at supervising his own wants and needs. I mean, obviously with assistance of people in his circle, he's very good at keeping track of, every time we just had a staff meeting and there was an agenda, and he made sure to, keep in track of that. And he's very communicative. So he's a huge texter, huge Facebooker. If you follow him on Facebook, my friends are saying, we're always getting notifications from Micah. He's posting. So he's very good at keeping track of everything, that has to be done, and everything, is in his life. So I think that makes him a very good supervisor, because he's always keeping me in track. I mean, as well as myself, keeping myself in track, as I should be, but he's very good at keeping, everything moving forwards, instead of just kind of like, we're always doing something. We always have different things to keep track of and different goals to reach. And he's very good at reminding me of that.
That's great. Great to hear. Great to hear. I know we have a few minutes left. We appreciate both of you. Micah, just a couple of questions in the Q&A box, which I'll ask you. What made you want to teach?
I think from teaching, I would like to teach because it's very rare that someone with my disability is teaching at university. I know there's maybe one other college, but it's very rare that lots of people don't teach at the college a lot. But and it's a great example for students that are going into teaching that are like having someone with a disability that is able to teach there.
That's great. Well, and thank you too for your service, because teaching, as we know, is a noble profession.
It is.
What type of housing do you live in?
I like live in I like live in like I like live in a house that lives. It's like it's kind of like a duplex, but my parents helped me buy the house, and then I pay rent to my dad. But
Awesome. Good. Yeah, I mean that's also good to know in self-direction that there can be that flexibility around what kind of housing arrangements work. And it's a very, kind of unique situation. It's unique to each family. So thank you for sharing that. How many years has your circle been existing?
My circle started when I was in 3rd grade, but
That's right.
in Syracuse, it's been starting since 2012.
Okay, that's great. And do people kind of come and go? You talked about
yeah. People come and go, but I have kept a good circle, and they have come and go. But yeah.
Good. And last one, but it's obviously important. How do you invite new people?
I talk to them about it, then they come and join my circle, and they come and see how my circle is, and it's a great it's like a great group of people.
Great. Michael, on behalf of all of the conference organizers and the participants here, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Taking the time and for sharing aspects of your life. I mean, it's not everybody would be comfortable talking about
yeah. But I have one thing in the future. If you ever want me to come back to New Jersey, I have many friends that live in New Jersey, and I can go and visit them, and I would be happy to come to a conference in person if you ever.
Well, reading my mind, absolutely. The collaborative for sure will be in touch with you about future collaborations, because you do serve as a really wonderful example of what it means to take the risk, assume the responsibility, and
I would say with self-direction, many people, when I wanted to do it, people didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I proved them wrong. But
certainly did. All right. Yeah. Micah, any last words for self-advocates? Maybe
I would just say I believe in their dreams, and ask for support when you need it, and just get the team that you want, and just ask for help.
Thank you so much. We hope you can stick around for the rest of the conference. It's going to be hard to beat this, Paul, but I'm sure you'll do your best.
I'll stay on for a little bit more, and then I have to get some work done. But.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you again. We will be in touch, but keep doing what you're doing. We really appreciate you sharing.
Thank you.
Experiences. Okay.
Thank you.
Donna, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was certainly something to follow. Not something that I wanted to follow, so very inspirational. I did want to share that I have been with public partnership for almost 4 years, and almost around the same amount of time as Paul has been our ombudsman, and I've been fortunate enough to meet with him over the years. But, Paul and I had a very good conversation on Friday, and just wanted to tell you guys a little bit, before I came to public partnerships, this was not at all a community that I had really been too involved in. And so, coming here, when I was more in the corporate world and in other positions, was moving further and further away from touching the people, getting to work with the people. And so this was a great move for me because, not only do I get to work, I get to work with amazing people. I've gotten to meet amazing families since the first week that I started, and have made it my business to continue to do that and to try and to educate people and to try, I still have folks that contact me, that reach out, and that I go and visit and have, built relationships with over the past 4 years to really fully understand, what their experience is. And I think that's what made Marion and I, when we got together at Starbucks, I know we've said this like throughout the whole conference, when we got together at Starbucks, we really just wanted to kind of pick each other's brains. And then, as we started talking, we realized there was a lot of commonality in just wanting to make a difference. And that there was a conference once before, and it hasn't happened in a while. And so why not, sort of resurrect this? So, it takes a village. We could never have done it ourselves. I mean, all of the people who've attended, all of the people who've supported, DD Council who, gave us a grant so that folks can join at no cost, has just been, incredible. We had the Bog Center, Colleen from the Bog Center. We had, Jonathan Seafried, and we had Patricia Brennan who joined us as well. Just so many people. We had Easter Seals, and it was great to work with Easter Seals in such a different capacity and sort of partner together on sharing what the different models are, coming together, as a community, coming together with advocates and families. We couldn't have done it without, all of you. So really so appreciate it. But I just want you to know, our theme of we're all in this together was really to open up the dialogue and to start the conversations, and understanding that, maybe not everyone feels like we're all in this together, but opening that dialogue will allow us to continue to evolve. And hopefully the folks that maybe are feeling like we're not all in this together, that in fact, we can get there if we keep the dialogue open, if you continue to, advocate for yourself, if you, like Micah said, build your circle. I mean, that was just so empowering, talking about, building his circle and really understanding, the makeup of that. I know that for myself, my heart's been touched by this community, and I make it a part of my role at Public Partnerships to bring it back, because I know that, things aren't always perfect, but when I can bring back that there are people behind it, and that there are, when things are good, I bring it back, and when there are challenges, I also bring it back, so that folks, understand that there are people behind, and families that, really need us to call back, really need for us to, be responsive to them. So, I think we're all trying to evolve in this community. Sometimes great things happen, and sometimes there's complex issues that need to be worked out. And I believe, in us coming together as a community to do that. I wanted to, so, without further ado, I don't think that our ombudsman, who was appointed by Governor Murphy, needs, but definitely deserves an introduction. He has been our ombudsman since 2018. I know my experience with Paul, and just hearing him out in the community and attending things that he's been out at the community, he definitely listens. He's a great listener, and he opens his heart to the community to really be able to advocate for it. Exciting news for Paul is that President Biden has also appointed him to the Committee for Disabilities, for Intellectual Disabilities. And so, I mean, we are proud to share you, Paul, with Washington, D.C. and the country. And we're excited that you will, be able to, speak on behalf of New Jersey, and also, the entire IDD community, of this country. So, I mean, we're honored and proud to have you here to speak to us. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Paul, and you're going to close it out.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
So
Thank you. And thanks, everybody. And yeah, it's great to have the opportunity to close out this wonderful conference. But I do have the unenviable position of following Micah. But I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to have this opportunity. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of this conference. You said it's been done before. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to have the experience, and it's been such an important conversation. And I want to congratulate you and thank the organizers, all of you, for not just what you did, but how you did it. Putting together this conference on a very important topic, self-direction, which is important because, as we all know, it sort of speaks to, individual choice and our individuality, and really an appreciation and understanding of that, and really gives sort of meaning to the concept of person-centeredness. So self-direction is so important, and having this long conference was wonderful. But the way you did it, the diversity of views, and having such a great sort of lineup of speakers and presenters throughout the whole conference has been really wonderful. It was great, listening to Bill Ditto, sort of the father of New Jersey self-direction, sort of give us sort of historical perspective, and some of our colleagues, Jonathan Seafried, you pointed out, and Trish and Colleen and Mercedes, and so many folks sort of, who are in it now, and sort of, bringing self-direction to life. It has been wonderful. But hearing from folks like Micah, who can speak to it in such authentic way, because they live it, and they've helped make it real through their own life experiences. And while I'm on it, talking about Micah, let me thank him not only for that great sort of give and take with Marion earlier, but for his example. You made reference to it earlier, the landmark, case that he had fought and won, which would not only benefited him, but it benefited the entire community. And I would suggest our entire country with such a landmark civil rights victory. So it's wonderful to sort of hear him, see him, and sort of have an opportunity with all of you to sort of experience him. I also want to congratulate John for his artwork, John Yard. He really did help bring sort of the theme of this conference to life with that wonderful art that he created. And it was so wonderful. Self-direction is, again, something so important. We talk about person-centeredness. A lot of us strive for person-centeredness, talk about individual choice, but that's really what is at the heart of self-direction. And granted, in our office, we work with families, and individuals, across board. Some of them can't avail themselves for whatever reason of self-direction. They don't have the bandwidth, they don't have the time, the energy, for whatever reason. And so, a lot of the service and support they get are agency-based. But for those that can benefit from it and avail themselves, you really see it's an opportunity to sort of build the life that they want, that makes sense for them. That addresses their needs, meets their needs and their preferences and their dreams and everything like that. Granted, it's not a perfect system yet. In our office, just by the very nature of our office, people come to us when there's a problem. So that's why, Donna and I have been talking for years, whether it's PPL problems, something like that. But I can tell you, the potential's there. And for some families and some individuals, it's a godsend. It really is. And I know for all of us who work in the system, we're constantly striving to continuously improve it, look for its shortcomings, to look for ways to sort of fill the gaps. But it's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that we have here in New Jersey. And, it's great. And I'm glad that we had this conversation. And, again, the way we've done this conversation, I do want to go back to, Donna was referencing our conversation and our relationship. I have had the opportunity to work with Donna since I was appointed 4 years ago. And it wasn't always easy, there was some growing pains, not only for our office and, in general, but for PPL and its relationship with its customers throughout New Jersey. But she has been a strong advocate. And, when we spoke last week, she was just sharing some of her insights, some of which she shared with you today. And I really encouraged her. I said, you need to share that with the larger group. And I'm glad she did, because as we know, for those of us who sort of live and breathe these issues, those of us who have a personal lived, connection to disability, either because we have our own disabilities or because we're family members, we're always sort of working with folks who either get it or don't get it. And And there are those that don't get it, but that really want to, and they really, you know, they're well-intentioned and they want to learn more and they want to understand and they want to do the right thing. But it's so wonderful and so refreshing that when you meet somebody who does get it and who can speak that same language and who clearly connects with people with disabilities and family members on a real personal, on a real authentic level. And Donna is certainly one of those people. And I think it's important that the reason I want to highlight that is because, oftentimes people look at public partnership and PPL, as this organization that doesn't get them, that doesn't understand, that doesn't, and I can tell you, it's certainly not true in the person of Donna. It's certainly not true in the person of Kenneth, and so many others that work in the organization. I know we wanted to leave some time for questions, but I just wanted to say, again, thank you to all the people who sort of put this together, all the people who are part of it. It's such an important conversation. I know we're going to continue it. We're going to have more meetings, if not annual, maybe even quarterly. I don't want to sort of jump the gun on this, but it's something that we need to keep continuing to discuss, including the hard issues, that so many families face. Again, one of the sort of at the center of self-direction is the recognition that we are all individuals, that the disability community is diverse. And that means what works for somebody doesn't work for someone else and vice versa. And that's what this is all about. And that's what these kind of conversations can sort of help us sort of move the conversation forward, get to that place where everyone's needs are met, where everyone has the opportunity to sort of live their potential, to live where they want, to live how they want, and to work where they want, and to do just to live a full life. And so I'm glad, again, to be a part of this. Generally speaking, today, have this opportunity to sort of close out this wonderful conference, and just to say thank you. Thanks to everybody who involved with this. And for those of you who don't know our office, feel free to contact us at any time. I'm glad to say there's 3 of us now in our office. There had been 2, myself and Christine Bachter. But this past Monday, we were joined by CJ Dodge. So we're a team of 3, hardworking, and here to serve anybody and everybody. So thank you. Thank you so much, Donna, and thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Paul. We really appreciate you taking the time to join the conference, as well as all the great things that you had to say today. And we look forward to seeing what you're going to do in Washington, D.C., as well as here in New Jersey. Okay, so I think I wanted to turn it over. Do we have questions? So if there are any questions, please put them in the chat. But at this point, either Marion or Mercedes, did you want to say anything?
Well, I know as part of the closing, thank you, Paul, for your leadership, ongoing, and support. We couldn't do it without you. I really want to thank Mercedes and the council. I know those of you who have been on through the various sessions, you've heard it, and I'm glad, and you're going to hear it again, that what started as an idea, that idea came to fruition because you believed in us, you believed in the idea, and I think took a chance. I mean, proposing a conference in a virtual world in the midst of a pandemic. I think it took a lot of courage for you and the council, and we appreciate your confidence, your belief in us, and your ongoing support. You've been right alongside us every step of the way. You've challenged us when we needed challenging. You've supported us, and you've been a part of this. And I think that the theme of we're all in this together really was exemplified by the council and by all the partners, PPL, Easter Seals, Boggs, DDD. I mean, the collaborative is an all volunteer organization, and we really appreciate and have appreciated this opportunity to partner with people in the system, self-advocates, families. So many people work tirelessly. I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge Javier Salazar, who's part of the values team, for all of the logistical behind the scenes, herding the proverbial cats, and getting this, bringing this forward. And our hope is, Paul, that we work together and we continue to, shape the opportunities to learn from one another, to not dismiss the concerns and the challenges that have been raised, certainly as a part of this forum, but to how to best embrace those challenges and really work together, with each of us having our perspectives respected, and move this forward in a way that's going to work for everybody. I think Micah and Jordana present a really, really great example of what this system needs to aspire to, and how power is shared in a way that it works. It works for the people accepting support, and it's also got to work for people who are called to do this work and who want to remain and see this work as important and as a true career and life choice. And we're meeting a lot of moments right now emerging from this pandemic. And so I think this conference has been timely, and thank you. But really, thank you to Mercedes and the council, because again, it would not have looked like this. We may have been able to pull something off, and I'm sure we would have, but it wouldn't have been this extensive, and have the scope and the depth that we were able to have. I want to thank all the presenters. Your names are going to be up somewhere. There's too many to mention here, but each of you who brought your experience, your expertise, and courageously shared that. It was just an amazing experience. So thank you. Thank you all very much.
And Marion, let me just say thank you, because the council certainly made a wise investment in the application submitted by the Collaborative for Citizen Directed Services. Maybe the timing wasn't right, but at the same time, the timing was perfect. The ability to bring together folks across the state and other states, as we've seen with Mike up in New York, to be able to put folks in front of this this audience, and not just for what I'll call one and done, but this will live on the and people can access the various sessions. We, at the council, we really believe in projects that have significance, and this project certainly exemplifies the significance of reaching the community, and being an ongoing resource in the community. And just for a second, I'll share that it was the collaborative applied for what's called a Community Innovation Project, a CIP. Those are non-competitive, if you will, so you're not competing with others. Applicants are submitting a concept or an idea that they believe can have sustainable, lasting impact in the disability community. And it's an ongoing rolling application, so there's no timelines that are assigned to it. And it's up to $10,000 for an applicant in a given period. So I would encourage, just as the collaborative looked at that as an opportunity and a window to bring something, an idea to life. And certainly this is beyond what I think any of us imagined, even at the council when we entered, to have a month-long conference, to have a variety of speakers, to have recordings and resources available, and then that ongoing commitment from the group that came behind your efforts, Marion and Donna. I don't drink coffee, but I applaud Starbucks at the moment for bringing the two of you together, and the opportunity to see what else we can do, because we did address challenges in this space. We addressed that some folks are struggling with, well, how can self-direction really work in my life or in the life of my child when it's already so complicated and there's already so many barriers and obstacles in our place. And I appreciate those comments, because I think that challenges us to dig deeper and think harder about how self-direction can still be a resource in a person's life, if not in its entirety, but in some aspect. So I appreciate the fact that these sessions took place, but I'm actually more excited about how these sessions will prove to help people think further down the line, and to draw back on the references and then continue to expand the ways in which we offer people resources, thoughts, and opportunities to truly live the lives that they choose. So thank you all. The council is very appreciative, and on behalf of them, I want to make sure that it's very clear how grateful we are for all these efforts.
Great, thank you. I mean, I think with that said, we are going to do a post-conference survey, so I really encourage everyone to please participate in that, because it will only enhance and evolve our conference even more. So while we would all love to be in person, we would love your feedback, because I do think that, you know, having it virtually has allowed for many more things that perhaps in person wouldn't, and vice versa. So the feedback is definitely warranted. And, you know, topics that we want to talk about, dialogue that we want to open up. You know, I don't think we want to be afraid to talk about, you know, to talk about anything. So please provide that feedback. And I think we will also look to, you know, potentially we're going to try and do something perhaps quarterly, not a conference, but maybe a session where we think that there are topics that are needed. So please provide your feedback. And thank you to everyone. This has been an incredible experience, and we will look forward to year 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Stay safe. Bye.